And what about students? Okay, because we have student presentations that they're going to walk through individually, and we're going to click on this one as an example. How are they supposed to use this? Well, again, it actually is set up to be very intentionally differentiated. A video alone is not differentiated. It's hard for students, especially who struggle a little bit, to get through the content, find the key pieces. It's also hard to use a video as a reference because you have to go back and replay it to find different pieces. So these presentations are set up to really more strongly scaffold and differentiate for your students to help them learn to do whatever they're supposed to be doing. So the student ones, right, it's going to have a little blurb. It's going to kind of give a little bit of relevance to the student and then some directions. But really, again, it's all about using the actual slideshow. So the way the students are going to use it is very similar. So they're going to go in, they click next in the slide, and what they'll find is some bullet points and a video. Now, this is the thing. If I am pretty comfortable, right, maybe I've already made a Google document before, or maybe I've made a digital poster, I don't need to watch the video to know how to click a link and get this started, right? I can just click the link and get started. Now, if I'm someone who's completely new to this or I'm not very comfortable, then I watch the video to understand what the steps are. Honestly, with a student, I don't really care necessarily. If they're watching every single video, I as a teacher would not make that mandatory, as long as they are doing the appropriate reflection, as long as they are producing, the actual content in a way that's meaningful, right? And that it goes along with what is supposed to be happening, right? It should be very obvious. If there's a student just looking at the bullet points and clicking through and they're just making it, right? Like, I don't need to yell, care if they've been watching the video, right? I can see that, okay, you have changed the name, you've shared it with me. Clearly, you went through step 1 and 2, right? Let's move on. And again, a lot of students, if they've already done this before, and if you're going through the curriculum in order, they will have done this before. They shouldn't really need to watch the videos. They can just do the steps, move on, right? And the more comfortable they get, they can probably just walk through it. And ideally, right, we want to get to a point where students don't need to watch a video that walks them through every step to understand how to do this. Ideally, they can just read the directions over on the side and figure it out for themselves without having to watch the video. But again, some of them might need to watch some of the videos. If they do something that doesn't seem to make sense, they're stuck, then watch the videos to go with it while building their stuff out. But again, as a teacher, let the students self-differentiate, self-personalize to their own abilities and where they're at, right? If they don't need the video and they can still reflect and do everything appropriately in the way they're supposed to, then who cares, right? Let them move on and maybe go to an additional level of depth. On the other hand, if it's a student who struggles, maybe it's hard for them to follow written directions, they need to see it happen, then they should be looking at the video. So again, you should be going around. If you see a kid that's stuck, make sure they're on the right slide and they're watching the video to walk them through it. If there's a student that's just kind of breezing through it, again, you might even tell them, hey, you don't actually need to watch the next video if you understand how to do it on your own. You know your students, adjust for who your students are, but this is how it should look. It should be basically self-differentiated for students depending on the level they're at. And again, maybe they've gone through it the first time they went through it with the video, but they're coming back to this as something that they're using to remind them of some certain steps or to reflect in a particular way. Then they can come back and just use the written parts and the bullets and not have to watch the video, right? So again, this makes it a little more structured and easier for students who struggle a bit to use, but it also saves the students who really know how to do it or are more comfortable. It saves them time and makes them not have to waste their time watching a bunch of videos that they don't need to.